Is 54 pesos, sold to you at 12 cedis 55 pesos. The pound will be bought from you at 16 cedis 90 pesos, sold to you at 16 cedis 92 pesos. The euro will be bought from you at 14 cedis 69 pesos, sold to you at 14 cedis 70 pesos. I'll be guided that these figures will be much higher at a forex bureau near you. On the global commodity front, the price of crude oil is down by $0.2, trading at $65.27 per barrel. Gold, however, is up by over $26. It's trading at $3,987 per ounce, but cocoa is down by $121. It's trading at $6,162 per ton. We'll bring you updates around the world now in 60 seconds. Now to the big one. Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Esiama, has urged commercial banks to reduce their lending rates to reflect the recent decline in the key policy rate. The central bank, at its 126th Monetary Policy Committee MPC press briefing in September, lowered the policy rate by 350 basis points to 21.5% after reviewing developments in the economy. Following this, Dr. Esiama, during a post-MPC engagement with heads of banks in Accra, encouraged them to offer more favorable credit to the private sector, particularly small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, to support economic growth.
We are mindful, however, of potential risks going forward. And you're talking about risks including global oil price volatility. There are risks to do with possible tariff adjustments. And then there are other risks that we have to consider, such as any uptick in the movements of the city. But we stand ready to act decisively, whatever happens, to safeguard stability. The easing in policy rates has already started to transmit through the financial system, and we are seeing signs of that. Treasury bill rates have declined from 13.4% in July to 10.3% in August. And average lending rates are down from 26.6% to 24.2%. We expect further improvement as banks realign their pricing models to reflect the easing stance.
Now, financial sector stakeholders are urging targeted investment in digital assets to boost returns on pension funds and finance critical infrastructure. With innovations such as cryptocurrency and tokenized securities, Africa and Ghana in particular has the potential to leapfrog legacy financial systems and expand economic inclusion. Ghana's mobile money dominance, youth demographics, and the ECD pilot position it as a leader in digital finance. Speaking at the Digital Assets Summit Africa DASA 2025, CEO of technology firm MTech, Kamel Cadet, stated that the sector presents a promising opportunity and Ghana must be keen about maximizing.
Actually, I think digital asset is a good opportunity for investment, to attract investment in Ghana and in Africa. When you look at the amount of revenue and flows that are happening across the continent, I think you see investors that are interested in seeing new markets. Africa is a new market. You see the Genius Act in the US on how the US is adopting digital asset and promoting blockchain. So new markets, but putting the regulatory framework in place.
CEO of Promac Elite, the event organizers Peter Frimpong Manso urged for concerted efforts at adopting digital assets in the country.
Ghana is getting to a point where we are beginning to understand the opportunities that digital assets bring. The fact that it will allow the unbanked population to have access to financial services and be part of the whole financial ecosystem. So we thought we would lead the charge by helping to shape the narrative and the education about digital assets, and this is just the beginning.
Now, domestic value-added tax collections saw a robust increase of 33.6% in the first 5 months of 2025, reaching 8.31 billion cedis, up from 6.22 billion cedis recorded in the same period in 2024. According to the Bank of Ghana's July 2025 Monetary Policy Report, this significant revenue growth is a direct result of a stronger consumer demand and improved tax compliance. This report has more.
The value-added tax VAT increase coincided with a cumulative 35.7% surge in retail sales between January and May 2025, reflecting a solid rebound in private consumption and higher household spending across the economy. Retail sales for May alone rose by 38.6% year-on-year to 277.62 million cedis from 200.27 million cedis in May 2024. Domestic VAT performance remained robust, growing by 30.1% year-on-year to 1.77 billion cedis for the month. The central bank attributes this positive trend to enhanced economic performance, greater consumer confidence, and more effective tax administration. According to the Bank of Ghana, the uptick in consumer spending reflects a gradual rebound in domestic demand, supported by stable prices and moderate growth in disposable incomes. Despite the positive developments, economic analysts have sounded a note of caution. Sustaining the current momentum, the Bank of Ghana argues, will depend on the government's ability to maintain fiscal discipline, successfully curb inflationary pressures, and implement targeted policy measures to support household purchasing power in the coming months.
Now, Nuclear Power Ghana has expressed concern over government's plans to deploy Russia's floating nuclear power technology as a temporary solution to the country's growing energy demand while it awaits the construction of its first nuclear power plant. The organization says such a move is not in Ghana's long-term interest, arguing it risks turning the country into a mere consumer of nuclear-generated power rather than developing local expertise and value chains. Russia's Rosatom is in talks with Ghana to deploy 2 or 3 floating nuclear power units, each generating up to 100 megawatts as a temporary measure to address the country's power shortfalls. The arrangement would allow Ghana to purchase electricity directly without heavy upfront investment while integrating the power into the national grid.
We need to have certain basic infrastructure in terms of managing the daily generation of waste. That is very important. What are the liability issues? Because basically you are looking at a market to sell electricity, and nuclear has its own liability issues. So what are those issues? So there are various things that is unknown and it has never been addressed. We don't know very little information about this floating reactor. All that we hear is that, hey, all that you need is a power purchase agreement. That is not the concept of this nuclear agenda.
The Executive Director of Nuclear Power Ghana, Dr. Stephen Yamwa, stressed that nuclear power is not a quick-fix solution and urged government to remain focused on establishing a local nuclear plant to build domestic capacity and develop the full value chain.
Going through a real nuclear project is significant in terms of the issue of supply chain. So you can build your industries to really be part of the project, making sure that you have a robust institutions to really sustain a nuclear power project. Issues of the human capacity. And then in all of this is also to position Ghana as a technology hub.
And that'll be all for Bizbrief here on TV3. For more business stories, please visit our website s3news.com/business. I am Michael Ogbodu. Thank you for watching. And up next is the News in Brief, and George is on standby.
Details coming up shortly. Stay with us.
Thanks for your time. It's always a pleasure coming your way with updates here on News in Brief. Let's begin with the transport industry. Transport fares are expected to go up if government fails to stabilize fuel prices. The Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU, complained that since operators reduced fares by 15% effective May 25, there's been progressive increment in fuel prices. As it stands now, petrol is selling at 13 cedis 38 pesos per litre, and diesel 14 cedis 20 pesos per litre. Abasa Imoro is the Industrial Relations Officer of GPRTU. Take a listen.
The GPRTU of TU says by this release calling on the government to ensure stability in the prices of petroleum products. This call has become necessary because there has been a gradually progressive increment in fuel prices since operators reduced transport fares by 15% from 2nd May 2025 by 12.69 per litre and 11.34 per litre for diesel and petrol respectively.
And according to experts we've engaged, looking at indicators at hand, it's likely that at the second pricing window, fuel prices will increase. So clearly, there'll be some, increment in transport fares. So, passengers like you and myself should brace up for this very increment. All right, for that, MPP Ashanti Regional Chairman Bernard Ntwibo-Esiako, a.k.a. Chairman Wontumi, has pleaded not guilty to charges of assignment of mineral rights without approval and purposely facilitating an unlicensed mining operation. Wontumi has also been granted a bail of 50 million cedis with three sureties. 2 out of the 3 sureties are to be persons with landed properties. He is to deposit his passport with the registrar of the High Court. He is to be placed on a stop list at all the entry points in the country. The 3 sureties are to deposit copies of their Ghana cards with the registrar of the court. Wontumi is to report to the investigators every first and third Monday of the month. The investigator is to file evidence of the entries at the end of the month. Wontumi, together with 2 others, including his company, Akunta Mining, have been arraigned before the High Court over illegal mining related offences. Well, on that legal note, we end today's edition of News in Brief. For more news updates, just log on to our website. It's 3news.com. Alternatively, you can join the team that Martin Esiedudate and Posha Gabo at 7 on News 360. Thanks for watching. It's always a pleasure coming your way. Good afternoon.